What often happens is people put so much pressure on themselves for such a long time. They refuse help. They feel like it's unacceptable to get help. And the result of that is they implode. To get to the point I'm at right now, I've had to overcome a huge amount of personal challenges, and I still have to make sure that I look after myself to this day. I had a very long history with anxiety, OCD, not knowing how to understand or deal with these issues, and going through a really rough patch for a long time where I was off the rails. And when I think back on it, very fortunate that I made it through that period. Eventually, when I did confront it all and finally opened up about it, it was a huge relief. My parents, my best friend, these people that I opened up to about it, they didn't judge me at all, and they were so supportive, and it taught me a huge lesson how we need to have that conversation. For men, we feel this shame that it means we're not a man if we go and talk about having an emotional problem. It actually takes much more courage and strength to speak out about something, so it's not a weakness. If I knew that as a man that I wasn't going to be judged or laughed at or looked at differently if I spoke about my emotions, I would have spoken about it much earlier. If I had that self-awareness, if I was taught how to understand myself, I would have gone and got help. We're not educated on suicide. We're not educated that when people are in that state of mind, they actually feel like they're doing a favor to everyone around them by removing themselves. And we need to understand that psychology so we can try and help them. And it's a tricky thing, but it is having that knowledge. This affects people across the board now because we're not doing things that are good for us. We're neglecting and often not facing, the deep-seated fears or anxieties. It's okay to be suffering from an issue. It's okay to have a problem. It's okay to not know what to do, but what's not okay is to not get help, to not speak out about it. This is a highly complicated area. We're touching the surface of understanding it. It's understanding psychology and what goes on in the human mind, and it's never ending. So the more research that can be done, the better. That requires money and funding. 1 in 5 is such an important charity because they do preventative work. There's a lot of awareness out there now about mental health. There's a huge amount of resource out there. A lot of it's reactive. There's nowhere near enough preventative. My one greatest hope for the future is that suicide rates go down, that there's better education in mental health, that people ultimately just have an improved quality of life across the board. Let's turn 1 in 5 into none in 5.